Welcome to the Neil Thomas Show. I am your host, Neil Thomas. I have to apologize for my absence last week. I was on a bit of a vacation, but it is good to be back and bringing the news to everybody. Let's talk about guns. A federal judge has overturned California's 32-year assault weapons ban. This is a huge victory for gun owners and basically anybody that supports the Second Amendment to the Constitution. You have to remember with these laws, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And in this case, they'll take as many guns out of hands of law-abiding citizens as they possibly can. And it's completely meaningless to do. Let's talk about why. For one thing, obviously, criminals don't follow gun laws. If a criminal wanted a quote-unquote assault weapon, they would get one. They don't follow the laws. Murder is already illegal, so somebody using a high-powered rifle doesn't make the murder any more illegal. It's a silly argument. And now I know we've discussed the idiocy of the term assault weapons before on the show, but it doesn't hurt to go over it again. There is no such thing as an assault weapon. It's a made-up term in which the government can basically ban anything they want. If it's scary looking, they'll consider it an assault weapon and ban it. To begin with, fully automatic weapons have been basically banned since 1986. You can get them, but it takes a ton of money and a special license, and a very small group of people own them in the U.S. So the guns that they're going after are semi-automatic rifles. Now, semi-automatic rifles are essentially just a long version of a pistol. I mean, that's a very simplified way of looking at it, but they're semi-automatic. For the most part, they're not high-powered. They're not larger caliber. They're just rifles. And the idea that they're this menace on the streets that are killing people all over the place is insane. The gun that they're after is the AR-15. So let's take a look at the numbers. Murder by firearm in the United States is somewhere around 14,000 people a year. Murder by rifle, and by rifle I mean all rifles, semi-automatic rifles, bolt-action rifles, single shot, any type of rifle at all. They entirely combine for about 400 people a year. Now, I'm not going to try and say that 400 people a year is not a tragedy. Any and every death is obviously a tragedy. However, when you're comparing 400 to 14,000 and saying these 400 are the problem and these 400 are the ones that we need to concentrate on, you're lying. We know you're lying, and it's obvious to call you out for those lies. So when we have these ridiculous laws in the books, these made-up terms, assault rifle, or whatever you want to call them, yes, we need to fight them. We need to get them off the books, and we need to abide by the Constitution. And of course, ultra-leftist California Governor Gavin Newsom is furious, or at least is pretending to be furious about this decision. You know, he's come out and complained about this judge, saying that the judge is working for the gun lobby and that the decision was unfair. Now, let's not forget that very few states actually have this ridiculous law, this arbitrary banning of weapons because they are scary looking. It makes no sense. Shouldn't he be more worried about preserving constitutional rights rather than being mad at a quote-unquote gun lobby? Or is it just possible that he's playing politics and trying to sway some favor because of the recall? His head right now is on the chopping block, and he's about to lose his job. So anything that he can do to try to appease the far leftists in California, he's going to do. He's a very dangerous man, and it will be my pleasure to watch him lose his position. And of course, to the left, the danger is that this will become a national issue, and that when Biden does try to impose some sort of assault weapons ban, it's going to be immediately brought before the Supreme Court and found unconstitutional, as well it should. So now, on a side note, I would like to wish happy birthday to the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. I hope that he's enjoying himself and has a extra large piece of birthday cake today. I'm sure that all this negativity in the news is not bothering him in the least. We have a country burning itself to the ground, and the media and the left still wants to blame the guy who hasn't been in office for over 100 days. And now we have the Fauci emails scandal. You would think that Democrats would learn to delete their emails or find a way to make sure that these emails were not able to become public, because they always seem to get that way. Apparently, these emails were obtained first by BuzzFeed via a FOIA Act, a Freedom of Information Act. If you were unaware of what the FOIA or the Freedom of Information Act does, it's basically if the government records it, if the government has anything to do with it in a digital way, you have the right as a citizen of the United States to obtain that. Let's say that you were pulled over by a police officer, or maybe you weren't. Maybe you just walked by and you saw a police officer in the course of his daily acts, and you found it interesting. You could file a Freedom of Information Act request, and you could get his body cam footage. It is something they have to release to you. So for whatever reason, Fauci found it ideal to leave these emails where somebody could request them, and it's not looking good for him. Some of the things that he has stated publicly doesn't seem to fit with the beliefs that he has in these emails. A couple of the things that are discussed is the origins of the coronavirus, which he has claimed many times has nothing to do with a lab in China. But in the emails, he seems to have at least acknowledged that this is a possibility. And masks and how well masks work. He states in these emails that they are not really effective in keeping out a virus which is small enough to pass through the material. Now, he indicates store-bought masks, but isn't that what 99% of the people are using? A virus like this is serious, and people died. A lot of people died. But when you make the virus political and use it to your advantage, that is pretty sick and evil. And that is what the people on the left have done, the powers that be. They used the deaths of thousands for political gain. And because of the misinformation and because of the lies and the flip-flops and whatever you want to call it, there are GOP senators, specifically Tom Cotton, Marco Rubio, and Marsha Blackburn, who are calling for Anthony Fauci to resign. And if he doesn't resign, they may go forward with some more help and force him out, have him fired. Now, I don't know if they have the numbers, but the point is, this isn't going away. The correct thing to do is to tell people the truth. Now, I understand that you don't want to create a panic. I understand that you don't want mass suicides or riots or, millions of Americans to go into a panic. But if you go on national TV and say, this is what we know, this is what we believe is going to happen, and this is what we should do as a nation together, and we will update you with the information as we get it, man, I can respect that. I can look somebody like that in the eye and say, thank you for doing your job. He comes out, hey, we don't know. We think that masks might be a good idea. Let's try them. And I'd be on board. Okay, let's throw some masks on, see if that helps. And then he comes back out, oh, wait, maybe that's not a good idea. Or this is what we found out. We think it might be helping. And I don't care. As long as it's the truth, I don't think you're going to get that mass panic that you thought you were going to have. Have you ever seen a movie where an asteroid is going to collide with the Earth and destroy everybody or 90% of the humans? Something like Armageddon or Deep Impact or one of those. And I don't know that that's all that far-fetched anymore. I don't know that they wouldn't lie to us. I don't know if they wouldn't spend billions of dollars, because at that point, what difference would money make, to hide that from us for as long as they possibly could. I don't believe that what our government is doing is in our best interest. I believe they're in it for themselves. They're in it for the power. And they're going to do whatever they need to do, and we come second. Luckily, we do live here. I believe it is worse in other nations and nations with more powerful governments, nations that don't have some of the rights that we have here. But just because it might be worse somewhere else doesn't mean that it's all right the way it is. Holding the government accountable is the responsibility of the voters. Now, assuming that the votes are accurate and fair, it honestly doesn't matter, because so many people simply vote the name that they recognize, or the guy that talks nice on TV, or for some ridiculous reason. If we voted based upon this guy did something we like, or this guy did something we didn't like, and we literally just voted based upon actions done by political individuals or political candidates, it would completely fix the system. It would completely change everything that we have. But what we have now is a system where people don't seem to care or want to, bother to do the little bit of research and find out that, hey, this individual voted against these 9 things that you hold dear, yet he smiled on camera and kissed a baby, and he has got that letter in front of his name that you like, that D or that R, so you're going to vote for him, and it doesn't matter what they do. Then that allows these politicians to do whatever they want. So yes, as much as I sit here and I try to hold politicians accountable for their actions, I also blame the people that pull the lever and put these same morons in office in the same position over and over again. And the majority of the people have no idea who this person is, what they voted for, what they did. All they know is, this is what I do. This is who I vote for. That's how we went from the president that said mean things on Twitter, but was running the country correctly, to a bumbling moron that has no idea what he's doing, who has created massive inflation in this country right now, who is going to jack up taxes and make things even worse, who is spending just obscene amounts of money. But man, is he nice on Twitter. Boy, do I like seeing those nice little cute tweets of his. Shame on us for doing this. And now it's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, everybody. How's everybody doing? You got your rainbow shirts on, and your rainbow hats, and your rainbow berets, and you got your flag up in your yard, and you're celebrating the fact that there are dudes out there doing each other and chicks out there doing each other. I mean, is that pretty bold that I said it like that? Because that's basically what it is. Yep, they're gay people. Yep, I turn on the TV and we've got Major League Baseball with their rainbow hats on, and the NHL now is doing something similar, and everybody's so happy to be celebrating Pride Month. I guess I don't get it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't offend me. I don't see the point of it. There's a lot of people out there that are rare. What is the gay population? 5%, 10% maybe. But they're not the only ones out there that are I guess in need of a month. How about left-handed people? What are they? About 10% of the population. Can we have a left-handed month where people will just wear one glove, wear it on their left hand? How about that? Left-handed month. How about ginger month? Let's celebrate all the redheads out there. Everybody can wear like a red wig or a red hat. Wait, maybe not a red hat. Red hats are racist. So let's go with just the red wig, because it's ginger month. We need ginger month. How about manual transmission driver month? I bet that's way less than 10%. If you can drive a manual transmission, you deserve your own month. That's right, you can do it. You're a minority. We'll have parades with just people driving manual transmissions around. We'll have T-shirts and streamers and all kinds of good stuff. What else should we have? How about irritable bowel syndrome month? If you've got IBS, you deserve your own month. I'm not going to go into detail about how we'll celebrate that. I'll let your imagination run wild. I got a couple more here. How about people who have seen Rosie O'Donnell naked and survived? Man, you deserve 2 months. You are a hero. Obviously I'm making fun of this, but I guess I just think that the political correctness has gone too far. Do we really need a month for every little thing? Do we really need that type of celebration? And honestly, I guess it wouldn't really bother me, except for when somebody who is opposing this, saying, why don't I get my own month, are shamed by society. Somebody says, why can't I have a straight person month? Why can't I have a straight pride parade? Those people are belittled. Those people are called names. They're called bigots or whatever. And it's showing that at least a portion of the pro-pride people are bigots, are not good people. Yeah, and if you need an example, they had a massive straight pride parade in Boston about 3 years ago, and there were massive demonstrations. There were people, it got to the point where it was violent, and they needed the police to intervene. I mean, it was people, literally, it was signs saying, I'm happy to be straight, men and women make kids, and it totally, there was nothing negative about the whole thing, other than people didn't like it. They thought they were mocking gay people. They were mocking gay. If you are so thin-skinned that a straight pride parade bothers you, you need to do some work on yourself. What happened to Major League Baseball? I can remember the strike days, and that hurt Major League Baseball. I can remember the Bonds and McGuire bringing them back, and then the steroid issue, and they've been up and down over the years, over the decades. Are they just so afraid to ruffle any feathers, to step on any toes, that they're gonna just go with whatever it seems that the mainstream wants, or that seems to be the politically safe thing to do? Baseball was a game where people grabbed their crotch, they spit. It wasn't. It was American. It was wholesome, but it was also, there was a certain unique American ruggedness to it. And that's why I think they had the draw that it had for so many years. And I think you're going to see a lot less people being entertained by baseball. Now, the sport of baseball itself is an amazing sport. It's a unique American sport. It's a fantastic sport. But Major League Baseball is going to hurt themselves. Major League Baseball, cowering to the woke mob, is not gonna do themselves any favor. I mean, right now they have a $1 billion lawsuit for moving the All-Star game. They moved the All-Star game out of Georgia because people cried about something they didn't understand. The woke left decided that the voting law in Georgia was somehow a racist, bad thing even though there was nothing in it racist, there was nothing in it that hurt voting rights, or it just, they didn't like it because the talking box told them not to like it. And that's not a good reason. That's not who we want running the country. I would much rather make up my own mind. I don't need CNN, ABC, CBS, blah, 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 all of those morons trying to tell me how to think, how to believe, how to act. I am intelligent enough to look at the facts and decide for myself. I looked at the facts. There's absolutely nothing wrong with securing voter security in Georgia when we had an election where there was at least major questionable voting tactics going on. There were some things that certainly could have been done better, and it is up to each individual state to make sure that happens. You know, that's the reason that ex-President Trump couldn't really fight his battle, because each individual state is allowed to run their elections the way they are. I mean, that's the way that the Constitution is set up. Each individual state has their own right. They do their own thing. And now, since then, it seems that things have flipped, and now the left doesn't like the fact that each individual state can run their elections the way they want. There is no evidence of widespread voter suppression. Let me say that again. There is no evidence whatsoever of widespread voter suppression. It doesn't happen. It didn't happen. It's never happened. So for the Major League Baseball to move the All-Star game out of one state and move it to another for woke reasons, or because of some idea that this imaginary voter suppression happens, is going to hurt them. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to hurt them for $1 billion, because that's the lawsuit that's going on right now. I mean, imagine you have a restaurant or whatever, and especially if you're near the ballpark, and you were counting on that revenue, if you were counting on that uptick in business, that major uptick in business, that would be a huge hit for you, especially after we've just gone through a pandemic where a lot of these restaurants couldn't even be allowed to be open. And now you're going to tell me that, oh, yeah, we're just going to take this business and we're going to move it away, and there's not going to be any repercussion to us. No, that's not the way it works. They're suing, and they're most likely going to win. You know, I don't know if they're going to win a full $1 billion, but yeah, they're going to be. This money is going to come out of the pockets of Major League Baseball, and I don't feel bad for them. So, guys, that is my show for this week. I thank you guys for listening, and remind you that if you have any questions, concerns, or would like to reach out, please do so by email, and I will make every effort to respond to you either by email, or I'll even mention you here on the show. Until next time,